The call came at 3 a.m., jolting me awake from my first decent sleep in weeks. Sabrina's name flashed across my phone screen, a name I hadn't seen in 3 years. My finger hovered over the decline button, muscle memory from countless blocked calls in those first raw months after she betrayed me. I'm Eva, and the last time I saw my sister, she was strutting down a runway in Milan, showcasing my designs as her own. Eva, please. Her voice cracked through the speaker. I know I don't deserve to ask, but I need your help. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding against my ribs. You've got some nerve calling me. The company's falling apart. Alexander's threatening to take everything. I don't know what to do anymore. She was crying now, those familiar hiccuping sobs from when we were kids, and she'd scrape her knees on the playground. Good. The word came out before I could stop it. That's karma for you. 3 years ago, Sabrina and I were inseparable. We shared everything. Our tiny apartment, our dreams of revolutionizing sustainable fashion, even our morning coffee runs to that overpriced cafe around the corner. I was the designer. She was the face, the networker, the one who could charm investors with a single smile. Remember that night? I asked, surprising myself by continuing the conversation. When you promised we'd change the world together? Eva, I spent 6 months developing that biodegradable silk alternative. 6 months of trial and error, of testing different plant fibers, of practically living in that cramped workshop. My voice rose with each word. And you took it all. I know. I was wrong. I was desperate and scared, and spare me the excuses. I got up, pacing my bedroom. You didn't just steal my designs, Sabrina. You took them to Alexander's company and claimed them as your own. My own sister. The silence stretched between us, filled only by her quiet sniffles. Ava? Luna's sleepy voice came from the guest room. Everything okay? It's fine, I called back. Go back to sleep. Sabrina cleared her throat. Is that Luna? You two still living together? She's visiting, not that it's any of your business. I walked to the kitchen, needing something to do with my hands. Why are you really calling? I told you, Alexander, no. I pulled out a mug, then changed my mind and reached for the wine. Why are you really calling me at 3 a.m. after 3 years of silence? Because you're the only one who can help me fix this. Her voice steadied. Because despite everything, you're still my big sister. Because I've spent 3 years watching you build something beautiful from the ashes of what I destroyed, and I need to know how you did it. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You want to know how I did it? I worked my ass off. I started over from scratch with nothing but a sketchbook and whatever fabric scraps I could afford. Luna let me crash on her couch for months. Stella believed in me enough to invest her savings in our boutique. I earned every thread of success while you were living it up with my stolen designs. I know. God, Ava, I know. And now it's all falling apart and I deserve it. But there are 50 people who work for me who don't deserve to lose their jobs because I made a horrible mistake 3 years ago. I took a long sip of wine, remembering the day I saw my designs on that Milan runway. The way my stomach dropped, the world tilting sideways as I recognized every detail, every innovative element I'd poured my heart into. The way Sabrina wouldn't meet my eyes backstage. Send me the numbers, I heard myself say. Financial reports, production costs, everything. Really? Hope crept into her voice. This isn't forgiveness, I said quickly. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for those 50 people who don't deserve to pay for your mistakes. Thank you, Eva. Don't thank me yet. I set down my glass. If I find out you're lying about any of this, if this is another one of your manipulative games, I will personally ensure that every fashion house in Europe knows exactly what kind of person you are. Are we clear? Crystal clear. She paused. I really am sorry, Eva. For everything. I ended the call without responding, staring at my reflection in the dark kitchen window. The woman looking back at me wasn't the same naive designer who trusted her sister blindly 3 years ago. She was stronger now, wiser. And maybe, just maybe, she was ready to prove it. You're not seriously considering helping her, are you? Luna appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. I took another sip of wine. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's showing them exactly what they threw away. Luna raised an eyebrow. And sometimes it's both? For the first time since the phone rang, I smiled. We'll see. You've really built something special here, Stella said, running her hand along the recycled bamboo shelving that housed our latest collection. Remember when this was just a crazy dream we sketched out on cocktail napkins? I smiled, adjusting a dress made from reclaimed ocean plastics. Sometimes I still can't believe it's real. The morning sun streamed through our boutique's front windows, catching the sustainable sequins we'd developed last year. The whole space breathed with life and innovation, exactly what I'd envisioned when we opened 3 years ago. The bell above the door chimed, and my heart stopped. Sabrina stood in the doorway, looking smaller than I remembered. Gone were the designer labels and perfectly styled hair. She wore simple jeans and a sweater, her face bare of makeup. Eva. She took a tentative step forward. This place is amazing. Stella's hand found my shoulder, squeezing gently. Want me to kick her out? I shook my head. It's okay. Could you check on that shipment from the hemp supplier? I'll be in the back if you need me, Stella said, shooting Sabrina a warning look as she passed. Sabrina wandered the store, touching fabrics with expert fingers. Is this mushroom leather? Our best seller. I moved behind the counter, needing the physical barrier. Did you bring the financial reports? She pulled a USB drive from her bag. Everything's here. 3 years of records. Let's go to my office. The back room was my sanctuary, walls covered in sketches and fabric swatches. Sabrina's eyes went straight to a framed magazine cover, my first major feature after opening the boutique. I saw this, she said softly. The future of fashion, how one designer's sustainable vision is changing the industry. I bought 10 copies. Spare me the sisterly pride routine. I plugged in the drive. Tell me what I'm looking at here. Numbers filled my screen. Profit margins, production costs, payroll. At first glance, everything looked normal, even impressive. But as I dug deeper, patterns emerged. These production costs are insane, I muttered. What kind of materials are you using? Sabrina sank into a chair. That's the thing. Alexander insists on certain suppliers, specific factories. Every time I try to explore more sustainable options, he blocks it. And you just let him? He owns 40% of the company. She twisted her hands in her lap. After Milan, I needed backing fast. The attention was huge. Everyone wanted more designs, and you couldn't deliver because they weren't your designs to begin with. The bitterness in my voice made her flinch. I panicked. Alexander offered to help, but his help came with strings. So many strings. She looked up, eyes wet. Now he's threatening to sell his shares to this massive fast fashion corporation. Everything we've built will be turned into cheap, disposable garbage. Everything you've built on lies, you mean? A knock interrupted us. Wesley, my favorite delivery guy, and maybe something more, though we hadn't quite figured that out yet, stood in the doorway with a stack of boxes. Morning, Ava. His smile faltered when he saw Sabrina. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you had company. It's fine, Wes. You can put those by the work table. He set down the boxes, then hesitated. We still on for coffee later? Rain check? Something's come up. After he left, Sabrina raised an eyebrow. He's cute. Don't. I turned back to the screen. These numbers aren't adding up. Alexander's suppliers are charging way above market rate, but their quality is mediocre at best. It's almost like what? Like he's deliberately inflating costs. I pulled up another spreadsheet. Does he have connections to these suppliers? Sabrina's face went pale. I don't know. I never thought to check. The door burst open and Stella rushed in. Ava, you need to see this. She thrust her phone at me. On the screen was a business news article, just published. Fashion upstart Bryant Designs in talks for major acquisition. He's already making moves, Sabrina whispered. Ava, please. I know I don't deserve your help, but those 50 people, their jobs, their families. I stared at the article, then at my sister's desperate face, then at the sustainable empire I'd built from nothing. An idea started forming. Dangerous, maybe impossible, but potentially brilliant. Stella, I said slowly, remember that expansion plan we discussed last month? Stella's eyes widened. You can't be serious. What if we accelerated it? What if instead of opening a second boutique, we looked at acquiring an existing brand, one that with the right leadership could be transformed into something more sustainable? Eva, no, Sabrina protested. I can't let you risk everything you've built. I met her eyes. You're right, you can't let me, but I can choose to do it anyway. I turned to Stella. Call our investors. Set up a meeting for tomorrow. As Stella left, Sabrina stood. Why would you do this, after everything I did? Because 3 years ago, you taught me exactly how cruel this industry can be. I closed my laptop. Now I'm going to teach Alexander the same lesson. Are you out of your mind? Luna paced my living room, wine glass in hand. This is the same sister who stole your designs, and now you want to risk your company to save hers? I spread financial documents across my coffee table. Look at these supplier contracts. Alexander's been bleeding the company dry through shell companies he controls. Classic corporate vampirism. That's his problem, not yours, Stella said from the couch. We've worked too hard to risk everything on this. The doorbell rang. Wesley stood outside with takeout bags and a concerned expression. I brought reinforcements. Figured you might need fuel for whatever crisis this is. My hero. I grabbed the bags, breathing in the smell of Thai food. Come in. We need a fresh perspective. As we settled around the coffee table, Wesley studied the documents while picking at pad Thai. These supplier markups are insane. No wonder they're struggling. Exactly. I pointed to a particular contract. And look at the terms. They're locked in for 5 years unless there's a change in ownership. So Alexander drives the company into the ground, Luna said slowly, then swoops in with his fast fashion friends to save it? While making a fortune on both ends through his supply chain scam. I nodded. Classic corporate raider playbook. Wesley whistled. Nasty piece of work. But Eva taking on someone like Alexander? That's dangerous territory. She's right, though, Stella suddenly said, making us all turn. These contracts become void with new ownership. If we could gather enough capital for a controlling stake. My phone buzzed. Sabrina. Alexander called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow. Says he has a buyer ready. We're running out of time, I muttered. I might know someone who can help, Wesley said quietly. An old friend who specializes in corporate forensic accounting. She's really good at following money trails. Luna threw up her hands. Am I the only one who remembers what Sabrina did? Eva, she broke you. For months, you could barely design anything. You slept on my couch and cried yourself to sleep every night. You think I've forgotten? I stood up, hands shaking. Every time I close a major deal, every time I see my designs in a magazine, there's this voice in the back of my head, wondering if someone's going to steal it all again. But this isn't about Sabrina anymore. It's about stopping Alexander from destroying 50 people's livelihoods just to line his pockets. The room fell silent. Stella was the first to speak. I'm in. Whatever you need, whatever it takes. Me too, Wesley said. I'll call my friend tonight. Luna sighed dramatically. Fine, but I reserve the right to say I told you so when this blows up in our faces. My phone buzzed again. This time it was an email from one of our investors. My heart raced as I read it. Holy shit, I whispered. Marcus is willing to back us. Says he can have the capital ready by tomorrow afternoon. That's great, but tomorrow afternoon might be too late, Stella pointed out. The board meeting's at 10 a.m. Then we need to stall, I said, an idea forming. Wesley, how quickly can your friend dig up dirt on those supply companies? Give me her number, Luna said, pulling out her phone. I'm a master at late-night crisis coordination. As everyone sprang into action, I stepped onto my balcony for air. The city lights blurred below, reminiscent of that night 3 years ago when everything fell apart. My phone felt heavy in my hand as I dialed Sabrina's number. Ava? She answered on the first ring. I'm so sorry about the board meeting. I tried to stop it, but listen carefully, I cut in. Tomorrow morning, I need you to do exactly what I say. Can you handle that? Yes. No hesitation. Whatever it takes. Good. Because we're about to go to war with Alexander, and I need to know you won't break under pressure this time. There was a long pause. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago, Eva. I've learned my lesson the hard way. Prove it. I watched a plane blink across the night sky. Tomorrow morning, you're going to walk into that board meeting and accuse Alexander of fraud. What? But we don't have proof yet. No, but we will by the afternoon. We just need to buy time. I took a deep breath. Can you do it? Can you stand up to him? He'll destroy me. He's already destroying you. The question is, are you going to let him? Through the phone, I heard her take a shaky breath, then stronger. Tell me exactly what I need to say. Back inside, my team was hard at work. Luna coordinating with Wesley's forensic accountant friend, Stella running numbers, Wesley mapping out corporate structures on my whiteboard. Looking at them, I felt a surge of gratitude and determination. Tomorrow would either be a triumph or a disaster. Either way, Alexander was about to learn what happened when he messed with the wrong family. The board meeting was set to start in 20 minutes, and I couldn't stop fidgeting with my blazer buttons in the elevator of Sabrina's corporate office. Stella squeezed my arm reassuringly. Wesley's friend came through, she whispered, patting her laptop bag. The evidence is solid. The elevator doors opened to reveal Sabrina pacing the hallway, her heels clicking against marble floors. She froze when she saw us. "I can't do this," she blurted out. "Alexander's already in there with his lawyers. He knows something's up." "Deep breaths," I said, guiding her to a nearby chair. "Remember the plan. You're not alone this time." A deep voice boomed down the hallway. "Well, well, the prodigal sister returns." Alexander strode toward us, every inch the corporate shark in his $1,000 suit. Two men in similar suits flanked him, presumably his lawyers. "This is a closed board meeting," he said smoothly. "Family drama will have to wait." "Actually," Stella stepped forward, "as a potential investor representing Bryant Sustainable Designs, we have every right to be here." Alexander's smile didn't reach his eyes. Sustainable Designs? How quaint. Though I suppose you'd know all about those, wouldn't you, Eva? My hands clenched into fists, but before I could respond, Sabrina stood up. "That's enough, Alexander." Her voice shook slightly but held firm. "We should get started." The boardroom was all glass and chrome, with sweeping city views. Board members sat around a massive table, tension thick in the air. I took a seat near the back with Stella while Sabrina moved to the front. "Before we discuss the proposed acquisition," Sabrina began, "I have some concerns about our current supply chain that need to be addressed." Alexander's chair creaked as he leaned forward. "We've been over this, Sabrina. Our suppliers are non-negotiable." "Because you own them?" The words shot out of Sabrina's mouth like bullets. The room went dead silent. Alexander's face darkened. "Careful, my dear. That's a serious accusation." "It's not an accusation." Sabrina's voice grew stronger. "It's a fact. You've been charging us premium prices through shell companies you control. You've been stealing from your own investment." One of the lawyers stood. "These allegations are completely unfounded." "Actually," Stella interrupted, opening her laptop, "we have documentation proving otherwise." She connected to the room's display screen. "If you'll direct your attention to these financial records." What followed was 30 minutes of methodical destruction. Stella laid out the evidence. Shell companies, inflated invoices, hidden ownership stakes. With each revelation, Alexander's face grew redder. Finally, he slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. This is a desperate ploy by a failing designer who can't accept that her company needs saving." "Saving?" I stood up. "Is that what you call corporate raiders who deliberately tank companies for profit?" "And who might you be to question my business practices?" Alexander sneered. "The sister who couldn't protect her own designs?" "No," I said calmly. "I'm the sister who learned from that experience. The sister who built a successful company based on actual innovation, not fraud. And now I'm the sister making an offer to purchase controlling interest in this company." Murmurs erupted around the table. Alexander laughed, but it sounded forced. "With what money? Your little boutique's profits?" "With backing from Marcus Reynolds." The name dropped like a bomb. Marcus was a legend in sustainable investment circles, known for turning around struggling companies. Alexander's lawyer whispered something in his ear. His face went from red to pale. "This meeting is adjourned," he announced, standing abruptly. "We'll need time to review these allegations." "Sit down," Sabrina commanded. Everyone stared at her. "This meeting isn't over. The board needs to vote on whether to accept Eva's offer or your fast fashion deal." "You ungrateful little—" Alexander started toward her, but I stepped between them. "Choose your next words carefully," I said quietly. "The press would love to hear about a corporate executive threatening his business partner." He backed off, straightening his tie. "Fine, let's vote. But remember who saved this company when it was nothing." "You didn't save anything," Sabrina said. "You saw an opportunity to exploit someone's desperation. My desperation. I was wrong to steal Eva's designs, but you're worse. You make a career out of stealing from everyone. The vote was quick and decisive. With the evidence of Alexander's fraud laid bare, the board chose our offer almost unanimously. As Alexander stormed out, promising lawsuits and retribution, Sabrina turned to me. I don't know how to thank you. Don't thank me yet. I gathered my things. We have a lot of work to do and trust to rebuild, both professionally and personally. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I know. But for the first time in 3 years, I feel like I can breathe again. Looking at her, I saw both the sister who betrayed me and the sister who finally stood up to Alexander. Maybe Luna was right. Maybe this would blow up in my faces. But standing in that boardroom, watching Sabrina finally fight back, I knew I'd made the right choice. Sometimes karma needs a little help. Someone leaked our supply chain restructuring plans to the press, Stella announced, bursting into my office. The fast fashion vultures are already circling. I looked up from the mountain of contracts on my desk. 2 weeks had passed since the board meeting, and we'd been working around the clock to untangle Alexander's web of fraudulent suppliers. Let me guess, I said, rubbing my temples. Alexander? Has to be. Look at this. She handed me her tablet, showing an industry blog post. Inside sources claim Bryant Design's new management lacks experience in large-scale production. The door opened again, and Sabrina rushed in, waving her phone. We just lost the Jakarta factory. They're claiming our new sustainability requirements are impossible to implement. Another Alexander-controlled supplier? I asked. Probably. That's the third one this week. She slumped into a chair. At this rate, we won't have anywhere to produce the fall collection. I was about to respond when Wesley appeared in the doorway, looking worried. Ava, you need to see this. Now. He led us to the boutique's main floor, where a local news crew was setting up equipment. A reporter stood near our best-selling sustainable denim display, microphone in hand. We're here at Bryant Sustainable Designs, she was saying, where sources claim the company's eco-friendly practices may be more marketing ploy than reality. Oh, hell no. I marched toward them. This is private property. You need permission to film here. The reporter's eyes lit up. Eva Bryant, would you care to comment on allegations that your sister's company has been greenwashing its products? That's not, Sabrina started, but I cut her off with a look. Actually, I would love to comment. I smiled directly into the camera. Would you like to see how we really make our clothes? Without waiting for an answer, I led them to our workshop in the back. These tanks contain our proprietary enzyme treatment that breaks down ocean plastic into usable fiber. And over here, I moved to a workstation. We're developing a new biodegradable sequin made from plant cellulose. The reporter looked genuinely interested now. And these processes will be implemented in your sister's larger company? Absolutely. In fact, I grabbed a folder from my desk. Here are the contracts we've just signed with 3 new ethical factories specializing in sustainable production. Would you like to see their certification documents? After the news crew left, Stella slow clapped. Nice save, but those factory contracts aren't finalized yet. They will be. I turned to Sabrina. Call the board. Emergency meeting tomorrow morning. It's time for Phase 2. Phase 2? Luna walked in, carrying coffee for everyone. There's a Phase 2? There is now. I took a sip of coffee. Alexander wants to play dirty? Fine. Let's show him how it's done. The next morning, I stood before the board again, this time with a different kind of presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, what Alexander failed to understand is that sustainable fashion isn't just trendy, it's profitable. I clicked through slides showing market projections. By implementing our eco-friendly processes, we can cut production costs by 30% while charging premium prices for genuinely sustainable products. Sabrina stepped forward. We've already secured interest from major retailers who want exclusive rights to our sustainable lines. The potential revenue could triple our current projections. But what about the lost factories? One board member asked. You mean the ones charging us inflated prices? I smiled. Our new partners are not only more ethical, but more efficient. The only thing we're losing is Alexander's profit margin. Just then, my phone buzzed. Wesley's message made me grin. Perfect timing, I announced. Our legal team just filed a lawsuit against Alexander and his shell companies for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. The evidence has been sent to the SEC. The boardroom erupted in chaos. Through the commotion, Sabrina caught my eye, mouthing, "Thank you." Later that evening, as we celebrated in my apartment, Luna raised her glass. To karma finally catching up with Alexander. To new beginnings, Stella added. To family, Sabrina said quietly. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. The designer clothes were gone, replaced by a simple blouse and slacks. Her eyes had lost that hungry, desperate look. In its place was something steadier, more grounded. Speaking of family, she continued, I found something while cleaning out my office. She pulled out a worn sketchbook. Your original designs. I kept them all. The room went silent as she handed me the book. My hands trembled as I opened it, seeing the detailed drawings and notes from 3 years ago. I thought about burning them, she admitted, after everything fell apart. But I couldn't. They were too beautiful, too important. They reminded me of who I used to be, before I let greed and fear take over. Wesley wrapped an arm around my shoulders as I flipped through the pages. You know, he said, some of these could work perfectly with your new sustainable materials. A collaboration? Stella perked up. The press would eat that up. Sisters reunited, sustainable fashion revolutionized. I closed the sketchbook, looking at Sabrina. What do you think? Ready to change the world together? For real this time? She wiped away tears. Only if you're sure you can trust me again. Trust is earned, I said, but this time you're not doing it alone. Ava! Luna burst into the design studio, face flushed. Alexander's making moves, big ones. I looked up from where Sabrina and I were reviewing fabric samples for our upcoming collection. What now? He's calling in favors. 3 major retailers just canceled their orders, claiming quality concerns. Luna thrust her tablet at me. And look what's trending on social media. My stomach dropped as I scrolled through posts accusing both companies of labor violations and environmental fraud. Each post seemed legitimate, backed by convincing-looking documents and photos. These are fake, Sabrina said, reading over my shoulder. That's not even our factory in these pictures. The studio door flew open again as Stella rushed in. It's worse. Someone's been accessing our server. Design files, supplier contracts, everything, they've been compromised. How is that possible? I demanded. Our security was sabotaged from the inside. Wesley appeared behind Stella, looking grim. My friend in IT traced the breach. Someone used credentials from your old executive assistant, Maria. Sabrina went pale. Maria didn't quit last week, did she? Alexander got to her. My phone rang. Marcus, our biggest investor. With shaking hands, I answered on speaker. Ava, please tell me you have a plan, he said without preamble. These allegations are spreading like wildfire. Our stock is dropping. It's all fake, Marcus. Alexander's retaliating. I know it's fake, but perception is reality in this business. We need to act fast. A text popped up on my screen. Unknown number. Meet me at the Blue Room. 1 hour. Come alone if you want to save your company. Hey, I have to go, I said abruptly, grabbing my coat. Eva, wait. Sabrina caught my arm. You can't meet him alone. He's dangerous. She's right. Wesley stepped forward. Let me come with you. No. I shook my head. But I need you all to trust me. Luna, start calling our legitimate factory partners. Get video proof of our actual working conditions. Stella, contact our lawyers. Wesley, work with IT to trace every fake post to its source. Sabrina, I'm not leaving you. I need you here more. Get our sustainable certification bodies on record. Show them the real documentation. The Blue Room was nearly empty when I arrived. Alexander sat at a corner table looking smug as he sipped expensive scotch. Eva, so nice of you to join me. He gestured to the seat across from him. Drink? Cut the act, Alexander. What do you want? He leaned forward. I want what's mine. The company, the contracts, everything you and your sister stole from me. You mean everything you stole first? I pulled out my phone, setting it on the table. Through fraud and manipulation? Allegedly. He smiled. But allegations are funny things, aren't they? So hard to prove, so easy to make. Speaking of which, how are those retail partners holding up? What's your point? Step down, both you and Sabrina. Sign the company over to my investment group. If you do, these unfortunate rumors might just disappear. I laughed, actually laughed. That's your play? More threats? I'm offering you a clean exit. Take it or watch both companies burn. Here's the thing, Alexander. I leaned in close. You're so busy playing corporate raider that you missed something crucial. Want to know what that is? He raised an eyebrow. I recorded every conversation Maria had with you, every bribe, every threat. She came to me the day you approached her, and we set up the perfect trap. Those compromised files you stole, tagged with unique digital watermarks, every fake post you're spreading, we can trace it directly back to your IP addresses. The smug smile faltered. But my favorite part? I continued. That stock drop you engineered? My team just bought controlling interest at rock-bottom prices, with Marcus's backing, of course. You're bluffing. I turned my phone around, showing him the SEC filing that had just gone through. Check your own stock holdings, Alexander. While you were here threatening me, you lost control of your company too. He grabbed his phone, face contorting as he verified what I'd said. This isn't over. Actually, it is. The FBI is very interested in corporate fraud cases these days. They should be arriving at your office. I checked my watch. Right about now. As if on cue, his phone buzzed with urgent messages. You know what your mistake was? I stood up. You thought I was still that naive designer from 3 years ago, the one who didn't understand how cruel this industry could be. But you taught me well, Alexander. Very well indeed. I walked out of the blue room, leaving him frantically calling his lawyers. Outside, Sabrina was waiting in her car. You never needed me to make those calls, did you? She asked as I got in. Nope, everything was already in motion. I buckled my seatbelt, but I needed you safe, away from him. She started the car. When did you get so sneaky? I learned from the best. I smiled at her surprised look. Come on, we have a press conference to prepare for. Time to show the world what the Bryant sisters can really do. The press conference room buzzed with energy. Camera flashes popped as Sabrina and I took our places at the podium, Stella and Luna flanking us protectively. In the front row, Wesley gave me a thumbs up. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, thank you for coming. Today, we're not just announcing a merger between two fashion companies. We're unveiling a new vision for the industry. Sabrina stepped forward. 3 years ago, I made a terrible mistake. I stole my sister's designs and built a company on lies. Today, we're setting the record straight. The room erupted with questions. I held up a hand for silence. But this isn't about the past. This is about the future. I nodded to Stella, who started the presentation behind us. We're introducing the world's first truly transparent supply chain in fashion. Images appeared on the screen. Our new factories, our sustainable processes, real-time tracking systems for every material used. Every garment we produce will have a QR code, Sabrina explained. Customers can scan it to see exactly where their clothes came from, who made them, and the environmental impact of each piece. A reporter stood up. What about the recent allegations of labor violations? Excellent question. I smiled. Maria, would you like to address that? Maria, Alexander's former plant in our company, emerged from the side door. The reporters whispered and shifted as she took the microphone. 2 weeks ago, Alexander offered me money to help destroy these companies, she said clearly. Instead, I worked with Eva and the FBI to expose his fraudulent operations. Every fake post, every false document, we tracked them all. On cue, the screens showed surveillance footage of Alexander meeting with Maria, making threats, offering bribes. The room exploded with camera flashes and shouted questions. Is it true Alexander has been arrested? Someone called out. Federal agents are executing search warrants as we speak, I confirmed. But that's not the headline here. The headline is this. I pulled out my old sketchbook, the one Sabrina had returned to me. These designs were stolen once, but instead of destroying us, that theft led to something revolutionary. Sabrina? She opened a garment bag, revealing a stunning dress that seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly glow. This is the future, she said. Fabric made from recycled ocean plastic, treated with our proprietary enzyme process. The shimmer comes from biodegradable sequins developed in Eva's lab. And thanks to our new production methods, we can make it at a price point accessible to everyday consumers. The Bryant sisters, reunited and revolutionizing fashion. A fashion blogger shouted from the back. Is this a permanent partnership? I looked at Sabrina, seeing not the betrayer from 3 years ago, but the sister who'd finally found her courage. Yes, I said firmly, but with one important difference. Sabrina nodded, understanding. This time, we do it honestly, together. The questions kept coming, but were interrupted by commotion at the back of the room. Alexander burst in, flanked by two FBI agents trying to restrain him. "You think this changes anything?" he shouted. "You think people care about sustainability? They want cheap, fast fashion." "Actually," Wesley stood up, "market research suggests otherwise." He turned to address the reporters. "As the new head of market analysis for Bryant Sustainable Designs, I can confirm that pre-orders for our new collection have already broken industry records." "This is all lies." Alexander lunged forward, but the agents held him back. "The only liar here is you," Sabrina said calmly, "and we have proof of every single fraud you committed." "Take him out," I told the agents. As they dragged him away, I turned back to the reporters. "Now, who has questions about the actual future of fashion?" Hours later, after the last interview was done, our team gathered in my office. Luna poured champagne while Stella pulled up the early press coverage on her tablet. "Fashion's greatest comeback story," she read. "Sisters transform industry betrayal into revolutionary partnership." The headlines are incredible. "Speaking of partnerships," Wesley said, sliding an arm around my waist. "Dinner tonight? To celebrate?" "Make it dinner for all of us," I suggested. "We won today because we worked together." "To teamwork," Luna raised her glass, "and to karma finally getting it right." "To second chances," Sabrina added softly. I watched my sister, really watched her, as she chatted with Luna about upcoming design collaborations. The desperate edge was gone from her voice, replaced by genuine excitement. She caught me looking and smiled. "Still can't quite believe it's real?" she asked. "Getting there." I clinked my glass against hers. "One day at a time." That's all I'm asking for. My phone buzzed with a message from Marcus. "Stock prices soaring. Retailers begging to restore contracts." "You did it, Eva." "No," I thought, looking around at my team, my family. "We did it, and we were just getting started." "Ready?" Sabrina asked, adjusting my collar as we stood backstage at Paris Fashion Week. "Born ready." I peeked through the curtain at the packed venue. Fashion editors, celebrities, and sustainability advocates filled the seats. Though I still can't believe we pulled this off. "You pulled it off," Stella corrected, tablet in hand. "The pre-orders are insane. Every piece is already waitlisted." Luna rushed over, headset askew. "They're ready for you. And guess who just showed up? Alexander's former board members." Perfect timing. I smoothed down my sustainable silk blazer, our newest innovation. Let's show them what they missed out on. The lights dimmed as I stepped onto the runway. Camera flashes erupted, but I kept my focus steady. "Welcome to the future of fashion," I began. "Tonight isn't just about beautiful clothes. It's about beautiful choices." The first model emerged wearing a shimmering gown made from ocean plastic. The crowd gasped as the fabric caught the light, transforming from deep blue to ethereal turquoise. "Every piece you'll see tonight was created with zero waste," Sabrina continued, joining me on stage. "But more importantly, every piece tells a story." The screens behind us lit up, showing real-time tracking of each garment's journey, from reclaimed materials to ethical factories to runway. "Transparency isn't just a buzzword for us," I said. "It's personal." As if on cue, the courthouse footage of Alexander's sentencing played briefly on screen. 8 years for corporate fraud. The audience murmured. "But this show isn't about the past," Sabrina picked up smoothly. "It's about what happens when we choose to do better." The runway filled with models wearing our complete collection. Each piece represented a different sustainable innovation: mushroom leather jackets, biodegradable sequin dresses, regenerative cotton suits. Wesley appeared at the tech booth, giving me a subtle nod. Everything was going perfectly. "And now," I announced, "for our final piece." The lights shifted as Sabrina and I each took one end of a covered dress form. Together, we pulled away the covering to reveal a wedding dress that seemed to glow from within. "This dress," Sabrina explained, "is made entirely from reclaimed materials that were headed for landfills. The bioluminescent effect comes from sustainable algae-based threads developed in our lab. But its real beauty," I added, "lies in what it represents. Second chances, new beginnings, the power of choosing light over darkness." The audience erupted in applause. Fashion critics were already typing frantically on their phones. In the front row, I spotted Marcus beaming proudly. Backstage after the show, Luna tackled me with a hug. "You did it, both of you." "We all did it," I corrected, looking around at our team. Stella was already fielding calls from buyers. Wesley was coordinating with press. Even Maria had flown in to support us. Ava? Sabrina's voice was quiet. There's someone here to see you. I turned to find our mother standing there, tears in her eyes. We hadn't spoken since the scandal 3 years ago, when she'd tried to make me forgive and forget before I was ready. Mom? My girls, she whispered. My brilliant, beautiful girls. I'm so sorry I didn't handle things better before, but watching you two tonight... We learned from the best, Sabrina said, taking her hand. You always taught us to fix our mistakes, remember? Even when it takes 3 years? Mom asked. Especially then. I joined their embrace, feeling something final click into place. The celebration moved to our hotel's rooftop bar, where champagne flowed and deals were already being struck. Wesley pulled me aside to a quiet corner. So, he said, about that wedding dress. My heart skipped. Wesley Moore, are you trying to steal my design spotlight with a proposal? Depends. Is it working? I kissed him in answer, laughing as our friends cheered from across the room. Speaking of new beginnings, Sabrina approached, holding up her phone. Alexander's former board members want to invest, heavily. Tell them we'll consider it, I said. On our terms this time. Luna raised her glass. To karma, finally working in our favor. No, I corrected, looking at my sister, my team, my family. To choosing our own karma. To making things right, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. To the Bryant sisters, Wesley added, who proved that the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's success, Sabrina finished. As the Paris lights twinkled below us, I thought about that desperate phone call that had started everything. How close I'd come to hanging up, to choosing bitterness over hope. You know what? I said to Sabrina. I think I'm finally ready to design that collection we dreamed about as kids. Her eyes lit up. The one with the transforming pieces? Why not? We've already transformed everything else. Around us, deals were being made, relationships were healing, and sustainable fashion was becoming the new standard. But in that moment, all that mattered was that two sisters had found their way back to each other, stronger than before. Sometimes the best designs come from reweaving what was broken,